Hey guys, today on Fearless Mechanics we're going to show you how to change your spark plug, but not only that, we're going to show you how to clean it up and make it go from this to that. The tools you're going to need today are a wrench, an extension, make sure it's a long one, a 10mm socket, a 5/8 socket, a wire brush, and or sandpaper.
And all of that's going to be used today on a 2006 Toyota Corolla LE. Now on some cars it may vary for the top piece, the engine cover. That's what that 10mm is actually for. Some cars may actually differ between imports, American made. It depends on the car that you have. But most of the time the spark plug is actually a 5/8 socket that actually will differ from car to truck. It might be bigger for a truck and it might be smaller for a car. It depends. So we're going to go ahead and get to it. He's already got it started on the top of the cover.
Ready to go. Yep. Now, if you do have an 03 Corolla all the way to an 07, on your plastic cover here, you're going to have 2 screws total. You're going to have one here, and you're going to have one here, and then you have 2 clips in the back. Now, after you get these 2 off, you should be able to release the cover, and we can go from there. Alright, now, after getting the 10mm bolts loosened up and off, and you get these plastic grommets out, you will take off the cover, and right here, you have 4 spark plug coils. And we will disconnect those and take off the 10mm bolts for them as well, to get those out to reach our spark plugs. I'm going to need both a 10mm and the 5/8 socket we were talking about earlier. Now, aside from using the 10mm to not only get your cover off, you will need it to get these bolts off here as well to get your coil packs out if you have this year, make, and model vehicle. Again, like my other technician said, it all depends on what vehicle you have. You may need it, you may not. But we're going to go ahead and get these off, and we're going to get to those spark plugs. That's one boot, which we will set right here.
Now, after you do take these spark plugs out, you do want to inspect them and make sure they don't have large amounts of oil in the spark plug itself. That will actually tell you that you have had a blown head gasket before.
Yes, sir.
And that will actually tell you the life of your engine. If it ever had a if it's a certain model like this, this is actually not ever ran hot and nor had a blown head gasket before. So I mean, this in my opinion is actually a good looking car. You can't tell a difference between when you clean it, because I mean it's been running fine for the last how many months have you had this car?
I've had it for about maybe 4 or 5 months now.
And so we're just right now checking on the spark plugs.
And this one actually, I forgot to mention, when you guys do this, you're going to have to take off the electrical rail as well. I actually forgot to mention that to you guys, because as you see me struggling there for a second, if you don't take off that electrical rail, ooh, that was a close one. If you don't take off that electrical rail, you cannot get to your other spark plug coils or boots, whatever you'd like to call them. Now, in some circumstances like this, I'm most likely going to need a magnet to get these out. Goodness gracious. Yeah, see that guy. That guy's in there good. Guys, what you just see me do is a blooper. That was the wrong bolt. The other bolt is actually right here. I went to the valve cover because I'm a goofball.
Hey, we all make mistakes.
We do make mistakes, and you know, like I say before, we're all learning. It doesn't matter. We're only human. Now, of course, there are going to be people out there going, "Hey, well, you know, if you're going to make videos, you know, at least know how to take off the right bolts." Well, you know, not everyone's perfect, and we're just beginning this channel, and we haven't been working on cars wickedly long, you know, but we're getting to a point to where we can show you guys at least basic procedures on how to do this kind of stuff.
Now, as he mentioned, the actual cover you have to take off in order to actually pull the boots out of the other one, because it will stick against that rail. So he's going to get his magnet so he doesn't drop that bolt.
Actually,
you can get the magnet.
Figured pliers would be better, possibly, or not, or it can, you know, just be a pain in my butt. Or I could just lift it up like that, considering I have the other bolt off. There, all done. I don't need pliers.
All right.
Now, excuse us if our videos are a little bit sloppy. You know, it goes through a lot of stuff to get this going. So, sorry if we don't get things right the first time. We're not perfect. Okay, so now we're at the point where we can take our spark plugs out. I'm going to get my tool over here. Set my 10mm in there. And here, I'm going to get my phone out and show you guys this, because not many people get a chance to look down in here. If you actually look down in these holes, you can actually see where the spark plug is. See if I can give you guys a shot of this one over here. You see right down in there. There you go, right there.
That is your spark plug.
That is where your spark plug is located. And that's why I said you guys would need a long extension.
One more thing. If you don't have a long extension just laying around, you might want to get one for future references, because if you're trying to become a mechanic like us and you're going to change spark plugs, coil packs, stuff like that, you're going to need an extension at some time. So it's good to have one around, just laying around. So you might as well go to your nearest parts store, pick one up if you can, and have it laying around. So when you need it, it's right there, right in hands grasp.
Now, I want to show you guys a little trick. This is actually a fun part of my job and what I get to do. You noticed that the spark plug did not come out with this. The spark plug is loose. It's actually out right now. It didn't come up with this. What you can do is take the original boot that you had that goes in there, or coil pack, stick it down in there, and voila, there's your spark plug. Now, another thing to note, this car only has around 163,000 miles on it. So it's actually not that bad. It mainly does a lot around the town driving. I don't really go on the interstate too much with it, but I always keep it clean. I always make sure the oil's changed and it's fresh, and make sure there's no carbon buildup on it whatsoever. These, as you can see, are the original Denzos. I actually got these, believe it or not, out of an 09 Prius in a junkyard. And I haven't really cleaned them up yet. Now there's an old mechanic trick where you can take a torch and put the heat on it and make it cherry red, and it'll get a lot of the carbon buildup off, and it actually does not hurt the spark plug whatsoever. And I did that at first when I first got them, and I just put them in the car. But now I'm going to show you guys how to properly clean them without having to use a torch, because a lot of people just don't have a torch just laying around their house unless, you know, they were like a little bit of a pyro or something, I don't know. But now for the case in this video, like I said, you have the option to use sandpaper or a wire brush. In my case, because I have both of them here, I'm just going to use both of them to clean it up. I figure might as well, if I'm going this far, I might as well just clean it up instead of going to Toyota and buying these, because going to Toyota and buying these costs around 44 bucks. To me, that's a lot of money. I'd rather go to a junkyard and pay $2 a piece for them and clean them up.
One good thing about a junkyard, don't think about it as dirty cars just sitting in a yard. Think about it as a treasure, because you can find cars in there that's been upgraded with different types of stuff, with intakes and this and that, and you ain't got to pay much for them. But they might have a lot of dirt from the excess dirt from the junkyard and stuff on it. It can be cleaned. Engines and transmissions is the main thing that people go to junkyards for. But there's also interior pieces you can get, like covers and stuff that you have for your engine that's, you know, busted or stuff like that. You can replace just by going to the junkyard and not paying dealer prices. That's the reason why people usually tend to go to the junkyard instead of, you know, going straight to the dealer and being like, hey, I need this piece. Because the dealer actually might not make that piece no longer, and you have to buy it some other type of way, either online. You can buy it from somebody that has the same car that's parting it out.
And going to the junkyard, sometimes you can get lucky depending on where the vehicle's been hit. Usually if you go into a junkyard and you see the vehicle perfectly fine and looking great like mine, chances are they either blew up the transmission or the engine. Now if you've seen one that's been wrecked in the back, chances are your engine and transmission